Hey guys, welcome to another video and thanks for clicking on this one. In this video, I want to talk about Bitcoin and share with you some information that is out there that are likely to maybe convince you or at least get your mind on Bitcoin, because at the end of the day, the goal is to make money, put your money into something and see it go up. That is the ultimate goal. So let's talk about Bitcoin. By the way, if you are new here, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share this video with anybody that you believe would benefit from it. And of course, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave it below. I would highly appreciate that. Now, one of the first things that I would like to start with is, I'm sure this is not your first time hearing about Bitcoin if you're watching this video, and you're probably wondering what is causing Bitcoin to go this high. Well, at the recording of this video as of today, well, Bitcoin reached a new high of $116,000. One thing that I want you to understand is what is going on. Why are we seeing these new highs all of a sudden? Well, there are a few factors that sometimes can all work together to push Bitcoin to the highs of 120 as predicted by the article that I'm going to share with you right here. Analysts at Bitwise, Bernstein, and Standard Chartered all expect Bitcoin to reach 200,000 by the end of the year. Okay, that is what that is saying. With governments pumping liquidity into markets and cutting cumbersome red tape that was said to hold the industry back. Now, that is something that is one of the reasons why we believe Bitcoin is going to get to 200,000, but that's not the only reason. And I'm going to share some of the notes that I have here with you. One of the reasons that we have, the first one being the tokenization of stocks. And what that means is simply what I have on the screen right here. Tokenization of stocks involves creating digital tokens similar to cryptocurrency tokens that represent shares in a company on a blockchain network. It is essentially taking traditional company equity and transforming it into a digital asset that can be traded and managed using blockchain technology. Now, one thing that we know is that Bitcoin itself has its own network. Ethereum has its own network and the rest. Now, what this means is that in as much as they might not trade on the Bitcoin network, the fact remains that if cryptocurrencies and tokens like this or tokenization of stocks really goes through, as we know, Robinhood is trying to do that. There's some other brokerage firms that are trying to do that now. If it goes through, the adoption of cryptocurrency becomes widely accepted, which would then cause cryptocurrencies in general to go higher. Now, the second reason is the Genius Act. Now, this is not a new information, but like I said, all of these are slowly coming together to help the state in which Bitcoin trades. And what we have is the Genius Act of 2025, officially known as the Guiding and Establishing National Innovation for U.S. Stablecoins Act, is a bill passed by the Senate that establishes a federal framework for regulating stablecoins, digital assets pegged to the value of a fiat currency like the US dollar. The bill aims to provide clarity and regulatory oversight for stablecoins, fostering innovation while also ensuring consumer protection and financial stability. All of this to say that, hey, even though we know that stablecoins are already in existence, right? We have a lot of them already. Once it becomes regulated, it becomes safer for people to trade with or maybe put some money into. And that would mean that this adoption of cryptocurrency becomes a thing that, even the elderly people are likely going to be participating in. The next reason why Bitcoin seems to be gaining momentum now is corporate optimism. A lot of corporate companies are putting Bitcoin on their balance sheet. And what that means is that companies like GameStop, Figma, Sequence Communication, and so on now have Bitcoin as reserves. And that means that if these companies start to see a lot of reasons to put Bitcoin in a balance sheet, well, it makes them, in this case, more valuable. And you have also companies like Strategy or MicroStrategy that is already doing this, right? And with all these companies doing the same thing, because if the value of Strategy keeps going up as they're projecting it will, as Bitcoin goes up, the value of the company goes up, what would happen is that companies may begin to adopt that as a strategy to put some cash to work without taking, well, it's a risky investment, of course, as we know, it's very volatile, but at least the money is working and it's gaining them that the result that they want, in this case increasing the valuation of the company. Lastly, the reason why Bitcoin is gaining this traction at this point is the crypto week, which is coming up shortly in the next few days that I record on this video. Crypto week is a term designated by the US House of Representatives for the week of July 14th, 2025, during which lawmakers will focus on considering and potentially voting on key cryptocurrency related legislation. This period will see deliberations on bills like the Clarity Act and the Anti-CBDC Surveillance State Act and the Genius Act, all aimed at clarifying the regulatory landscape for digital assets. Now, all of this are really coming together for Bitcoin, causing it to go higher. Now, what the question is, should you be investing in Bitcoin? Should you buy Bitcoin now? Well, that is a personal decision that you have to make. But one thing that you need to understand is that Bitcoin is very volatile, and due to that volatility, today it can go up drastically and it can come down heavily as well. So you have to position yourself strategically for success, in the sense that if you are somebody who's not willing to take so much risk, then definitely you shouldn't be buying too much of it. But without it, taking risk means that you're not getting the rewards, right? So no risk, no reward. So you want to take a little bit of risk based on the portfolio size, based on your time horizon, and based on what you can tolerate. And that will determine how much you should be putting into Bitcoin. And in my opinion, depending on what your situation is, buying a little bit here and there, whether it's weekly, whether it's monthly, isn't going to be a bad idea, because one thing we know is that Bitcoin is still likely to go higher in the near term, at least based on all this information that we have. If you have found value in this one, please don't forget to drop a like on it. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and I'd love to see you in a future video.